Hello and welcome to another episode of the Nothing But Football podcast, a football podcast where we give you everything football related and a couple things that aren't. This week, there was a lot of activity in football. I'm sure we'll be going through quite a bit in terms of game week 9 in the English Premier League. Shout out first and foremost to the South Africans playing abroad. We're going to talk about European football quite a bit. I think it's good to shout out our South African players out there in Europe play. First and foremost, we have a local legend in the making, Percy Tau. How did Percy Tau get on this weekend, Christos?
Percy Tau did well. Playing for Anderlecht, he plays against Liverpool. Scored the second goal where they drew 2-2. So I just wish he gets the opportunity to play for Brighton in the Premier League. I'd like to see him play there.
Well, I think I'm going to go on the side road here. The reason why he's not playing, apparently, is because of our FIFA rankings. South Africa is so low that when he applies for a work visa, it's like harder than normal.
So again, South African officials letting us down on that one.
Put our socks up.
Yeah, so in England, players outside of Europe need work permits. And to get a work permit, the rules say you have to be in one of the top ranking nations. I think it's the top 40?
Top 50.
Top 50. And you have to have played 75% of their games over the past 2 years. But we'll get into that. For now, I hope you're used to us by now. But let's just introduce three friends and fellow co-hosts. On my left, first and foremost, Chris, aka Uncle Curtis.
Yep. I'm back, guys.
Yes.
Football is beautiful. Heartbreak once again. What can I say?
And on my right, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Potion, aka Mpo.
How are you guys doing?
Are we good?
It's going to be another interesting topic about football and letdowns. So, yeah, let's get on to it.
All right, so let's just get into it. Let's just get straight into the Premier League, game week 9. I think we spoke about Percy Tau, and Percy Tau's on loan at Anderlecht from Brighton.
Yeah, from Brighton.
Now, Brighton over this weekend played away against Aston Villa and actually won the game 2-1.
That was a shock result to me. I do not see how Brighton beat Aston Villa, because Aston Villa do generally play better against the lower sides this season. Who did they lose to so far this season? They only lost to Leeds.
They lost a couple games.
Yeah, they lost to Leeds. 2 other games. They beat Liverpool. So they were looking solid. So I was quite surprised when they lost that game.
They took a 3-0 against somebody recently. Their games have been up and down. They've got a decent squad. Because I think Brighton's in the Premier League about a year or two longer than
Aston Villa. Yeah.
And Aston Villa. You remember Brighton comes into the league under Chris Hughton. Has some good performances under there. They get rid of Chris Hughton and bring in Graham Potter. Yeah. And their football's actually quite better this season. Right? And there's some decent players there. Tariq Lamptey, Ben White, who was at loan at Leeds last season. Yeah, last season in the Champions League. Leeds wanted him back. Quite a good defender. But a decent result.
I think the difference was Danny Welbeck in that game.
My man, Danny.
I did watch it. He actually had a good performance there. So, yeah, the guys are waking up. Lallana is also in there,
They did recruit decently then.
Yeah.
Because even with Tariq Lamptey over there, got a red card in the 94th minute. But when you watch Brighton play, even though he comes from defense, he's very exciting to play.
Yeah, he is.
Running up and down, bursting up and down the wing.
Quite a decent game. But the game of the weekend. Let's chat about the game of the weekend. Tottenham, Man City. Jose versus Pep.
It's quite an upset if you look at it, the result.
A Mourinho masterclass?
Typical Mourinho. I want to call it a masterclass, but it's typical Mourinho.
Why wouldn't we call it a masterclass?
I do not like defensive football. It was a smash and grab. They literally won that game because a goal was disallowed in the first half. When it's debatable if it was a handball. Yeah. If it goes 1-1, I think City have the momentum to continue going on. So, don't get me wrong. They deserve to win it because it was a solid defensive performance. And that's why sometimes you get the rub of the green, where a goal should stand, where the goal doesn't stand. And then Man City are always chasing the game. And when you're always chasing the game against Mourinho, he'll hit you with a quick counter-attack, second goal, game over.
But Mr. Potion, is that not part of football? Does that not happen in football? When you're a goal down, you chase the game.
Well, I guess, like, he does have a point that once you go, like, get a goal disallowed, it kind of, like, demotivates you. Like, you feel like the world is kind of against you, i.e., in this case, the refs are against you. So, yeah, I can see where Uncle Curtis is coming from. And I can also understand what you're saying, that, that shouldn't really, like, discourage a team. But it was a masterclass from Mourinho.
Because another talking point that I also saw during the game, halftime, who was the ref again? Mike Dean. That man.
Oh, of course.
And when they showed why he disallowed the goal, and the man pointed to his shoulder. According to the new rules, this is not offside. I mean, it's not a handball. Handball is from the joint going down.
Yeah.
So we got refs who don't know the rules. 51-year-old men need to retire. That's all I can say.
Look, in my opinion, I think it's really one of those 50-50s. The goal being ruled out, I'm okay with it, but if the goal stood, I'm okay with it too.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, it's so on the border. But just going back to the performance, I think we're talking about the disallowed goal and that. But Tottenham went top in this game, guys. Tottenham went top of the league. Let's talk about their performance.
Shame, I won't lie. I'll give them that. I don't like them, but their performances have been quite consistent since chowing you guys 6-1.
That's the only game they played attacking in, eh?
No. They scored 6 against United. They scored 7 in another game.
I'm talking about against top opposition. You see how far you've fallen down the pecking order, Lucas? Where Mourinho attacks against Man United? You would never heard that in the past.
Hey, let's stick to the game though. I think this was a great performance. I think tactically, when I look at the game tactically, right?
Yeah.
Because Man City, we kind of know how they play, right? They put their wingers high and wide. Reguilon and Serge Aurier had a good game. They put their 2 number 8s high up the pitch. Musa Sissoko and Højbjerg stayed in position, didn't give that ball around. Rodri generally sprays the passes out. Ndombele and Kane shackled him. I think it was a fantastic tactical performance.
I hear you on that part, right? But even when you look at the game, if Man City had a more clinical striker on the pitch, I feel Aguero puts one of the chances away.
Do you think they were clean chances?
A couple of them were decent chances. There was a couple of posts, if I'm not mistaken, unless that was another game, but a couple of them were decent chances. And when you have 80% possession in a game, you are bound when you have a top striker to score.
Now, you say when you have 80% possession in the game. Mourinho himself has previously said, I don't have to have the ball to control the game.
I hear you on that part, right?
Mourinho once wrote in his program notes, one of the easiest things to do in football is win 1-0.
So I hear you when you talk about that, right? But then when I say you look at the Man City chances, it's not like they weren't having shots. It wasn't that it was last minute blocks in a couple of instances and so forth. So in most games, I feel I've seen better performances from a Mourinho team in other games, right? Where there weren't so many shots, there weren't so many crosses going into the box. Gabriel Jesus, he's decent, but he hasn't proven himself to me to be a top striker in the Premier League because he goes hot and cold. They have Ferran Torres. So I think Mourinho's actually Pep. He's actually right now trying to find another top-class striker.
So are you giving this result more to City's weaknesses than to Tottenham's strength?
City have been struggling in front of goal for a very long time.
So are you giving this result more to City's weaknesses than Tottenham's strengths?
Yes.
Arsenal fan.
Yes. Yes, I am giving it that because even when you look at Spurs will do a Spurs and go lose against a random team. Okay.
Mr. Potion, Mourinho generally in his second season tends to have his best season when he's at clubs. Porto won the league second season. Chelsea the first time won the league second season. Real Madrid won the league second season. Inter won the league second season. Came back to Chelsea, won the league second season. Man United second season finished second.
Yes.
Still claims that as a good achievement. This is his second season at Spurs.
Yeah, no, but I feel like he already said this because I watched that documentary All or Nothing. I think he already said that like this team already is pretty good. Like what he had, he said, "Nah, listen, I can win something with this team."
Yeah.
So you're right about the second season thing. It should actually be. This is his time. If he doesn't do it now, then I don't know, because he's got one of the the best strikers even in Premier League history, you could say.
Yeah.
In Harry
Up
Kane.
there. Up there.
He's there. Got a like everything is decent in his team. So I think he like, let's give him his flowers. He actually should take it. Like, he's in the race. We can't disqualify him. He's in the race. And he's one of the top 6 managers who's doing pretty well right now. Everyone's going through a topsy-turvy phase, so I think we have to give it to him at this moment.
Uncle Curtis, you've mentioned about City's chances that they missed in that. How would you rate Spurs on the counter-attack? Because I think they did quite well on the counter-attack too. Obviously, City had more of the possession and maybe more chances. I wouldn't say they were clean chances, but I think Spurs had a lot of opportunity too on the counter-attack.
Yeah, but then with Spurs, I'm not going to judge them against how they play against City, especially away from home, because again, typical Mourinho, go away from home, make sure it's a clean sheet. If I get a goal or two, great.
It was at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh, it was at the stadium. Okay,
Yeah.
then against a top 4 opposition, you just keep a clean sheet. If I score 1 or 2, great. If I'm gonna judge him, against a Burnley when nobody's attacking him, where they sit back and they do his tactics to say, okay, let me get 1 goal, and then we'll see how it goes.
So now they've played 9 games, right? It's a quarter of the way through in the season. The table is starting to take shape. It's a quarter of the way. There's still 3 quarters to go. But after that 1 quarter, they're top.
They've always been good. I think there was a season or 2 ago they were top again. They fell off to finish 3rd or 4th.
Okay, so you're writing them off from history.
From history. It's Spurs.
Okay. Their performance in the game.
And I'm also writing them off according to how they play in the Europa League. Their second squad.
Okay.
They struggle to put teams away that nobody knows where they're from in the Europa League. So if Harry Kane or Son gets injured, what's going to happen to Spurs? Compared to the way Liverpool are handling injuries right now. I was shocked, but we'll discuss that later in the podcast.
So before we go on to talk about City, Spurs' next 5 games from here. Spurs is top after 9 games. Spurs' next 5 game is Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Leicester. Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Leicester, and then Wolves. And there's an Arsenal game to reschedule. I don't know if it'll fall in those places. But as well as Europa League games and an EFL quarterfinal coming up. So in the next 5 games, I guess we'll get to see a lot about Mourinho Spurs.
Mm-hmm. They're playing who? Chelsea this weekend, Spurs.
Yeah, Chelsea coming up, then Palace, then Liverpool, then Leicester, then Wolves. That's a tricky...
It's a tricky run of fixtures, and I think already Spurs are at a disadvantage because Chelsea are playing today, on Tuesday in the Champions League. Spurs are playing on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then they're going to play Sunday again.
Yes.
Mourinho's going to fill the second string team over there. He's not going to risk Kane. He's not going to risk Son in the Europa League. And then if they come through that, I don't rate Frank Lampard that highly quite yet, right? But he did beat Mourinho once last season, if not twice. I don't know how many times he played Chelsea, but he played that 1 game. Mm-hmm. So the game I'm going to watch him play against is, if Zaha is playing, is against Crystal Palace.
So what do you think about the squad until that game happens?
By the way, Mourinho did lose to Lampard twice.
Yeah. Sure, but that's last season.
No.
Right? Last season, Mourinho's Tottenham has a boatload of injuries.
Yeah. This is when Son and Kane were struggling.
Yeah.
You see?
Boatload of injuries.
Boatload, but that's what I'm talking about.
It wasn't necessarily boatloads. They were ladders.
They had quite a few. Come on.
No. Which defenders were injured for them?
Hey?
Which defenders were injured?
Which defenders were injured?
For Spurs last season. It was Kane. They were struggling to score. They weren't struggling. They were struggling to score.
That's
it was
why
Kane and Son.
They brought in Bergwijn and Jadson Fernandes to actually balance, not balance out, but help the attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so far, Spurs 9 games, and especially the game against City, because we're talking about that now. Spurs, the game against City. Do you give them their flowers for this victory?
I give Mourinho his flowers for that victory because it's a typical Mourinho
What is a typical Mourinho performance then?
Against a top 4 team, defend, counter attack, get the 1 goal, sit back, catch them on the second break again.
No, I say well done too.
Yeah.
So I say well done too.
Very good result.
It's a good result for
Didn't
Mourinho.
expect it.
I think they played well. I would even go as far as saying they were the better team. I think City had more of the ball, but they were pushed into areas Tottenham showed them into.
They basically imploded into themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Now let's talk about the City arm of this. Before the game, Pep Guardiola signed a new contract with City, an extra 2 years. This is going to be the longest he spent at a club then, if he fulfills his contract, right?
Yeah.
So how do we feel about City? Let me maybe start with how I saw City in terms of the game, right? I think in the game, look, they weren't helped by conceding a goal early, right? They conceded a goal within 5 minutes, and that obviously plays to Tottenham's hands, right? But they couldn't get their tactics going either. So like I say, they have De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva high up the pitch, but Højbjerg and Sissoko were on them. They didn't change tactic there. Like I say, Ndombele and Kane cut off Rodri, who that position is very important to Pep Guardiola. Remember when he goes to Bayern, he says, give me Thiago Alcantara and I'll win the league. Thiago Alcantara gets injured after a season, he says, give me Xavi Alonso, I'll win the league. That position is important to him. And just like we saw against Liverpool, and now Rodri got cut off. I don't think Manchester City really got to play their game. Mr. Potion, how do you see that? How do you see it from Man City's end?
I actually disagree with you. 80% says they did. I mean, they had 80% of the possession. You can't really say that Rodri didn't get to play his game. It didn't work.
Do you think Tottenham wanted possession?
I don't think so. I think they were more comfortable without the ball.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I hear you saying they have 80%, but I want you to have possession.
Yeah, but I feel like saying that I think Rodri was kind of in control at some point. But it's just those guys worked hard on defense, the Tottenham guys.
Okay.
So I think we need to give them that on the fact that they were prepared. They knew, hey, we're not going to get a lot of the ball, and we need to make sure that when we get it, it counts. I think City were just too comfortable with the ball that eventually it started to frustrate them, as in like, hey, we've got so much of the ball, and we're not doing much with it.
Yeah.
So. Like, you see that a lot as well with Barcelona sometimes when we play. When something doesn't happen at a certain point, there starts to get, like, there's a pressure that starts to build up. As in, like, we haven't done anything yet. Like, we need to do something soon. And then the panic hits. And what happens? Mistakes come after that.
Okay. Mr. Curtis, tell us how you see the game. And let's also remember this is 8 games in for City. They've only scored 10 goals. Is the league figuring Pep out?
They've only scored 10 goals. I'm shocked at that. Because I think it might be that the league is figuring Pep out. Because his play is very predictable. It's go to the wings, stay in your positions. How it plays out, I don't know how it's going to play out for Man City this season. Because they do not have that magical striker like they had for Kun Aguero for years. Because I think he's fallen out of favor with Pep. I don't know why he's not playing.
Injuries. He just came back. He was on the bench for that game. It's his first game back.
But as they've given Gabriel Jesus a chance, they've given him a fair crack at this league. I might as well go as far as to say that Iheanacho was doing better for City than Gabriel Jesus, because Iheanacho would come on as an impact sub, would score. Jesus misses sitters from time to time. It's very on and off, but I think the league has failed to pick Pep out. And where I see this going, he signed that 2-year contract. Messi at Barca, that man is finished. He does not want to be there. You can see he's only scored 3-4 penalty goals this season.
Yeah.
He's not tracking back. So I think we might see Messi at City next season. And if they get Messi is that unpredictable player.
What do you, Mr. Potion? What do you think of City for the rest of this season? Because obviously Messi is a dream for next season, and next season is next season. City's 8 points off the top with a game in hand, so they're not that far off. As much as they're probably 12th, 13th in the league, it's just the results are crazy right now. If that's money in the bank, the game in hand, they could be 5 points off the top with 3/4 of the season to go. This is still Pep Guardiola. This is still City. How do you see the rest of the season for them?
I think that City, I think they're still in it, but I think it's going to be quite difficult. It depends how their new signings work out. So they've got a new centre back,
Ruben Diaz,
who has to fit in.
I think he's
fit
brilliant.
in okay so far. He's been doing well.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. Ferran Torres hasn't really come into play. He hasn't found his feet yet in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Champions League, he's found his feet.
Yeah.
International, he's a wonder kid.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really performed yet in the Premier League. So I think it all depends on those little pieces of how they're going to fit into.
Do you have faith in them to get it right?
I would say not this season.
Do you still see them being title challengers come last month of the season?
I think they'll be in top 4. I think they'll find their way into top 4.
They'll find their way into top 4, not necessarily challengers.
I won't necessarily now say challengers, but I think they will find their way into top 4 because how they placed actually now.
They're
13th, but
they're
with a
about
game in
13th.
Yeah.
8 points off the top with a game in hand.
You see, they're 13th. I think they will find their way into
But it's 8 points with a game in hand.
No, I get you.
With a quarter of the season to go.
I get you, but that's like we can't say that they
League titles aren't won in November, dog.
Yeah, no, we can't say that they're challenges now because they have a game in hand.
Yeah.
Still 8 points
So
away.
Pep Guardiola's words, right? He says you can't win a title, you can't win the league in the first 8 games, but you can lose it in the first 8 games. Chris, do you expect them to be title challengers this season?
They will be. They'll always be.
All right. Then let's go into another title challenger from the season. With all of their injuries, we would have expected Liverpool to struggle, right?
Yeah. Who
they
play in defense this weekend?
They played Fabinho and Fabinho and Matip with James Milner at right back and Andy Robertson at left back. I think they had the best performance of the season. Their best performance of the season.
Because if Leicester won that game, they were going top. So to keep a clean sheet when you're missing 3 of your back 4, then you're even missing the youngster that comes in to replace one of the back 4. I gotta give it to Klopp. I didn't expect that result.
I also did.
I did not expect it.
I really thought that they were going to struggle.
A lot of people had them tipped to break their unbeaten home record.
I had them tipped there.
Liverpool had gone 63 home games unbeaten. They've now hit 64. I think they just equaled their record, if not broken it. Their own club record, not the league record. But a lot of people tipped Leicester because it's coming off an international break. Leicester, Jamie Vardy's retired from international football. Maddison didn't get picked. Barnes didn't get picked. They had a bit of a fresher squad. I think Liverpool totally outclassed them.
Yeah.
Mr. Poe, how'd you see the game?
To tell you the truth, it made me realize that no, they weren't joking about Jota. Because I used to just think, Liverpool guys are just being excited about this new signing of theirs, Diogo Jota. But listen, he's a top player. He's really a top player.
Yeah.
Liverpool do have something there.
Yeah.
Not Fabinho. Firmino broke his duck, finally scored.
Yeah. Had a great performance
Good
too,
for
in my
him.
opinion.
Robertson, being Robertson, had a fantastic game. So for me, those were the takeaways.
Mr. Curtis, Jurgen Klopp said before the game, he said, "We don't moan at this club, we find solutions." Now, they were missing Salah, Van Dijk, Gomez, Henderson, Trent Alexander-Arnold against Leicester, who's second. Who was second, sorry.
I hear you. It's easy to say quotes like that when your team is winning. When Klopp was finishing 3rd, 4th, he was a moaner. Let's not get it twisted. So that's how I view it. But I will commend them for them finding solutions. I'll only judge a team when they make quotes like that, when things go against them. it's easy when things are going for you. They are champions, right? They lost against only Aston Villa, maybe one other game, but they still favorites. They did find a solution for Leicester, right? But that was at home. Let's see how long they can last with this run of form when you play away from home.
How are things going for them when they're without Salah, Van Dijk, Gomez, Henderson, Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Momentum. Winning is contagious. There are times where you can go play your youngsters against a Premier League opposition team in the Carling Cup, but you go beat them because winning is contagious.
This was a Premier League game against a Leicester team. Leicester had the top scorer in the league last season. You're missing 3 of your 4 defenders against last season's Pichichi.
That's why I say, when things go for you, things go for you. Things have been going for Liverpool in general. I congratulate them, right, for the simple fact of I did not expect them to win that game.
Yeah.
Right? I think I've spoken before about I could see Liverpool falling off because of injuries, right? But they're not falling off. So I have to give them the props for that. But I want to see when they lose that first game, how did they recover from that? When the defenders start making mistakes, how did they recover from that?
When they lost 7-2 to Leicester, they've recovered to come second top of. They tied on points with Liverpool now.
I'm talking this period now, with all these injuries out. When you need Van Dijk to steady defense because you shipped 5 goals to 0 in the previous game. How did they go? Like, what are Liverpool's runs of fixtures? If we can get that, just so we know, because that's when I'll say, okay, fine. I'll tip Liverpool to be favourites to win the league, because there's no way I'm putting Spurs on number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
All right. But then I'll have to see how they react to things, because to me, this season is who handles the injuries the best will win the league.
Mr. Poe, I would describe Liverpool's victory against Leicester as a champion's performance. I think this is back against the wall.
Yeah,
we've had it described here as when things are going for you. But I think this is backs against the wall. I think this is Joel's Matip. Did you rate him highly before? This is Fabinho. Can he play centre back? There's still a.
To tell you the truth, I think Liverpool did well. They played very well. They showed up and they played very well. If they can keep this up with this squad, then we can start saying, you know what, this is a champion's performance. I think what happened in this game is that they were underestimated.
Yeah.
Because Leicester probably thought in their heads, no back four, basically back four rocked into shambles. No Salah. We should have this.
Yeah.
They, in their heads, they started to psych themselves up as in, like, this is the best opportunity we can get to beat Liverpool.
And let's not forget, Brendan Rodgers is a choker. He's done it a couple of times. So it's not surprising, because he did choke at Liverpool. He did choke last season in the second half where he did nothing. So when it matters most, sometimes you have to look at these things, and maybe Brendan Rodgers is not championship winning material.
Okay. But do we at least give it to Klopp tactically? Because I'll give it to Klopp tactically, because
of course
Leicester even got outnumbered in midfield. There was Firmino dropping in also. Jota kept coming into the centre also. I saw Leicester's midfield too, sort of looking around, not knowing who to pick up. I think they got gunned today.
No, of course we have to give it to them.
That day.
We have to give it to them. They played well. But my question is, can they do this with the squad that they have? Like the injured players that are out. Can they do it for however long they have to? But for this weekend, I give them props.
Because even to me, they play in Atalanta in the Champions League tomorrow or today. I don't know when it is. Right? Which team are they going to play in that game? All right? They gave Atalanta hands in the previous Champions League round of fixtures. I think they hit them 4-0 or whatever.
Yeah.
All right? So if they handle this round of fixtures very well, all right, I'll be impressed, because it's Atalanta this week or whichever Champions League team, and then they're going to play whoever in the league. So these 2 games are key.
They're playing Brighton.
They're playing Brighton. Okay, I expect them to beat Brighton. Mm-hmm. Is it away from home?
Yeah, it's away from home.
It will most likely will. I think we'll watch Liverpool with some keen interest, because look, as much as I'm praising Liverpool, I do think Leicester were poor.
Yeah.
They were very poor.
I do think Leicester were poor, but I think Liverpool also brought out a top-notch performance.
I think Leicester were poor because they weren't playing to their game plan. Leicester is a counter-attacking team. Liverpool showed a very good, solid defensive performance. So maybe Leicester needed Liverpool at full strength. So Liverpool can be attacked. Like what happened with Leicester versus Man City. Because let's not forget, Leicester did beat Man City this season. 5-3 or 5-2.
Yeah.
And that's because they were catching Man City on the break.
Yeah.
Was that the case in this game? Because I didn't watch the full game.
No. It was the case of Liverpool defending that well. Liverpool still played their very high defensive line. Jamie Vardy got no change out of Fabinho and Matip. In fact, Jamie Vardy only got Joy running on the right. So he's actually running away from goal. He got the ball in behind a couple of times, but it's away from goal. So you've got Jamie Vardy putting in a ball in, but you want somebody else putting the ball in for Vardy. He got no change out of them. I was solidly impressed by Fabinho's performance.
I have to give it to Klopp then. Masterclass to nullify Leicester on the counter-attack, leading Vardy to the wing. Because I don't think he's a great crosser of the ball. And even if he crosses, who's he crossing to?
He's crossing to, yeah. All right, so I think Fabinho's looking like a Rolls Royce in midfield. But let's go into some other key fixtures in the league. Now we spoke about Spurs. Spurs is top, and next weekend they're going to be playing against Chelsea. Chelsea played away to Newcastle this season, and Frank Lampard described it as their most professional performance.
I cannot argue with those comments. I'm not a Frank Lampard fan, but I have to give him props for these run of clean sheets. Thiago Silva dropped out the team, and he still kept a clean sheet. The only detractor against it, I can say, it's Newcastle. They're not very strong offensively, and they lost Callum Wilson, so their goal threat wasn't that much. Because who they get in striker? They were playing Joao Linton.
Yeah,
my God, that man is terrible.
Yeah,
my God, that man is terrible. So to me, Newcastle, a bit like Man City, they need to sort out their striking position, especially when it comes to the backup.
Mr. Poe, how do you see this game?
For me,
as far as Chelsea's caliber,
for me, I was the one player that really impressed me, even though he had a lot of missed chances, was Timo Werner. Funny enough, because even though he missed his opportunities, he kept putting himself in those positions.
Yeah,
and I like that about a striker. Like even though you do miss your opportunities, you come back, you try to take opportunities, you learn from your mistakes. So that is what I saw from him. As in, like, no, that was a decent performance from him. Obviously, goalie has changed in Mendy.
Mendy's a good keeper.
Mendy's a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah. We need more black keepers in the Premier League, guys.
Yeah.
Mendy has convinced me otherwise.
He's doing the Lord's work. So yeah, from that point of view, it was a great performance from Chelsea. They can move forward and take something away from this game. So it's good for them.
Yeah. Now a talking point from this game. Now I thought Chelsea was dominant in this game, as you'd sort of expect them to be. Yeah. Right? It's against Newcastle. I think we'd be more surprised if they weren't dominant. Kudos to them for being so dominant. But so Chelsea played 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Right? And their midfield three was Kovacic, Kante in his central defensive position, and Mason Mount.
Yeah.
I thought Mason Mount had a fantastic performance, but I want to speak about Kante. Kante in that position, you kind of saw the two sides to Kante as far as what the recent managers have had.
Yeah.
Kante in that central defensive position, anytime you dare have 3 touches against Kante, like, like defensively, he showed us everything that Kante is, but on the ball wasn't that much. So you can see where the argument comes to say play Jorginho in that position.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, he stopped goals and there's Timo Werner up front. So what do we think about the composition of Chelsea's team? Because they've had a lot of signings. We saw Timo Werner play in off the left with Tammy Abraham up front as the focal point. Yeah. Mr. Curtis, how viable do you see that being?
I remember I had this conversation
with Ziyech on the right.
I had this conversation with you, Lucas, when Timo Werner was playing at Leipzig, and you expect him to play up front, and I was like, he's going to play on a wing because they have that target man. I think that's where he's best suited in that Chelsea team.
Yeah.
Right? I think if Chelsea are going to continually win games and compete for the league, it'll be Kante over Jorginho for me. Because I'm a very firm believer of he's a CDM. Let him do a CDM job. Not everybody's a ball player. What's Jorginho doing over there? He's going to pass from side to side. Great. But when you come up against better opposition, what's Jorginho going to offer you? Nothing. Right? So if they play Kante consistently and they play him in his favorite position, Chelsea will challenge. But then if they try and think and say, okay, fine, let's get more ball playing midfielders in there who can do this. Because who's the CDM? Great teams always have a great CDM. Chelsea had Makelele. Arsenal had Patrick Vieira. Man United had Roy Keane. What are the other great teams we can mention that had great CDMs? Right? Even with Makelele, he went from Madrid. They were title-winning club. Moved to Chelsea. Madrid fell right off. Because they had no CDM. So you got to start looking at places. Sometimes you got to look at a player's position and say, okay, fine, I have this type of player. He's best suited in this type of position. Let me not try funny tactics and play him up front. They tried to play Kante as a number 10 at one stage. No. Yeah. Play him as a CDM. Let him do his job. And when he does his job well, he will stop goals. You worry about the person next to him being able to find the pass. And that's how I view it.
Mr. Potion, did you see any, because the jury's still out on Chelsea, did you see anything in this game that sort of gives you hope in them or gives you a bit of comfort in them that says they will be at the top of the league come the end of the season?
I think you're asking the wrong person since I'm an Arsenal supporter, but seeing any hope about them ending up on top of the league. But signs of them, ending up in top 4, they have a lot of attacking options, goal attacking options in Timo Werner, in Tammy Abraham. Ziyech was a bit quiet in this game, but he did put it.
He did well.
Yeah, he did well. He's also an option. Mason Mount. You can't deny that he's a.
I thought he was man of the match.
Yeah,
I still don't like that chant. I don't like it.
Exceptional
man of the
talent.
match.
But yeah, I think they have a pretty good team. Squad depth as well. I mean, if you look at it, Thiago Silva went out, Rudiger fit in like a glove. Yeah. And yeah, you really can't deny that.
Yeah.
Even when I think Emerson also came on.
He came on in the 80th for Ben Chilwell. Yeah, he
came on for Ben Chilwell. You could still see he's fulfilling the role that Ben Chilwell does. So they do have the depth. You got to give it to them.
So, Chelsea's next fixture is against Spurs. How do we see that fixture playing out?
Here on the chopping block, I'm going to give it a draw.
Score, draw, 0-0?
I'll give it a 1-1. I see Mourinho going to defend, as always. I see Chelsea scoring 1 goal, right? Because as we were talking about depth in the Chelsea squad, I feel they do have options. If Tammy Abraham doesn't do it, you get Giroud on the pitch. He's 1-2 play. Brilliant. All right. I remember when he was playing at Arsenal, Walcott scored a lot of goals that season as well. So, Frank Lampard, if he uses his options correctly, he'll do well. Chelsea will win that game if they do not play Jorginho. Keep that man on the bench, and Chelsea will do well because Kante will keep whoever's in Tottenham's midfield quiet.
Now, you've been vocal about your thinking of Frank Lampard's abilities as a coach. Chelsea is kind of in a run now where they're putting together clean sheets because you've called Chelsea out for the number of goals they concede. They've plugged the goalkeeper gap. They're conceding less goals. Do you think there'll be title challenges?
Title challenges until March, just like they were last season. They'll do well, and then when things go against them, because in management, the man management comes for you when things go against you. All right? Mm-hmm. Things haven't gone against Frank Lampard this season too much. All right? So what's going to happen when Feb March hits, and he's in the Champions League, and he loses 7-2 to Bayern again.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Are they going to falter? Are they going to win again? Can he motivate his team to come and play well? I doubt. Frank Lampard is white privilege. That's all I can say about the Gents.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now we've talked about Chelsea as in things have gone well for them. Let's talk about a team where things aren't going well for. Man United had a 1-0 victory against West Bromwich Albion. West Bromwich Albion is second bottom of the league, have not won a game this season. United needed a retaken penalty to beat West Brom.
Dude, you won. Just take your win.
Don't forget, West Brom did draw 3-3 against Chelsea.
Yes.
So you beat them. It's a 1-0 win, but it's building a base. At least you're scoring goals in open. It's not an open play, but you're scoring goals. West Brom, I think, who did they play the week before where they also had a close game? West Brom, after those spat of goals, they're generally not conceding goals. Slavan Bilic has got that team well drilled.
So I'm looking at it from the perspective of the performance. I think the performance wasn't great. I think West Brom, second bottom from the league, they were trying to win that game.
Yes, they were.
And they had opportunities. So defensively, I'm worried. Attacking.
They let you down. Rashford let you down.
He's a youngster. That's given.
Yeah, Rashford let you down. Martial also kind of let you down.
Yeah, I can't believe they compared that man to Thierry Henry.
Martial had moments of brilliance, and then in that same moment, the last part, he just went.
So he was like the French Gervinho.
Yeah,
is what you're telling me.
Nah, yeah, fair point. But yeah, like it was a shame. He just didn't have a shooting.
I think, and maybe because as a United fan, obviously I tend to watch them more than others, and like you say, we won, take it. But I'm so concerned by the performance because there's a lack of structure. Again, Harry Maguire, love him or hate him, Harry Maguire was stepping into midfield to make the passes our midfield couldn't. Martial and Rashford, like, they both had good seasons last season, right? They scored their highest number of goals.
20 apiece.
Yeah. Martial scored 23, Rashford scored 22. But if you look at it, Rashford scored his goals when Martial was injured. Martial scored his goals when Rashford was injured. Because to me, when they get it going, playing together, it looks beautiful, but they try that every game. You can't have two of the players who want to stand still, get the ball, and then beat six people and score. That's why Bruno loses possession so often in a game. I've seen Bruno play for Portugal. He doesn't lose the ball. Okay. I think performance against Everton, we look good because lo and behold, Fred and McTominay passed the ball forward. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you can do this. and maybe this is me as a United fan sort of just taking all my frustration into one game where I should be happy that we won it. But Mr. Curtis, are you thinking United in top of the table context?
How you guys got top 4 last season was a smash and grab.
Okay.
It's Ole, dog. He'll play well when his job is on the line. He's about to get fired. He'll beat PSG. After that, he goes on a spate of losing ones. You lost to Arsenal. Arsenal scored 9 goals this season. Right? The very next game, you go on to win against Everton.
So you're saying we shouldn't have lost Arsenal?
You shouldn't have lost. You should have got that man fired.
We shouldn't have lost. We should have gotten fired.
Yes.
No, I think what he's saying is that you guys should have beat us.
You should have beat us.
You really should have.
Because we're a better team.
No, not because you're a better team. For the sake of your team, get rid of Ole. That's what I'm saying right now. Right?
Okay. No, look, I'm Ole in. I want Ole to stay.
Maybe he means from the perspective of the 4, you just beaten PSG, and then it was bring on Arsenal.
Yeah.
I remember you guys. You were very vocal.
They were very vocal that week.
Yeah. So I I won't lie. I kept quiet most of the time because I didn't expect much. I was like, let's just hope for the best. And we got the best result.
So Mr. Potion, when you're thinking top of the table, you're thinking title challenges. Is Man United coming into your thoughts?
Title challenges? No. Top 4 challenges? Maybe.
Based on?
You guys have a good squad. Your defense is still in shambles because of injuries. Also, morale has been affected by that criminal. And your strikers aren't finding form yet. But that's going to work. It's going to work itself out at some point. Rashford will find his feet again. Martial will find his feet again. Cavani is going to help those guys out a lot. I think you guys will start to challenge at some point. So,
I think United will break Cavani.
Really? You should have got Zlatan rather.
I think we'd break him too.
He did well for you last time, but that
yes,
was
under Mourinho. Under Mourinho. So why I say I think United will break Cavani is United doesn't really have a system. Hence I say it's like watching. It's like trying to pull blood out of a stone watching Martial and Rashford together. They're both good players, but like one of you run in behind to give the other one space to do the running thing. Don't pull up to the side like your Thierry Henry and Trezeguet. They had Ljungberg running the other side. No one's doing that. Juan Mata still started. I love me some Juan Mata, but which other top 6 squad does Mata get into?
Fair point. But you know what's making me laugh over here? When you watch pundits in England talk about Ole as if he's still a young manager, as if he doesn't have 10 years in the game.
He has 10 years in the game, and I want Ole in.
Right? Yeah, you want him in, but I
want Ole in. Yeah,
I feel he's been getting too much slack. He changed your team, cool, but if the problem at Man United is at board level, all right? If they listen to Mourinho, got him what he wanted, you guys challenge again. He finished second. And Mourinho does what Mourinho does when he wants certain things. I think we should play Pogba in defense. Of course he didn't want to play Pogba in defense. He was telling people, get me proper defenders. All right? He doesn't want Harry Maguire there playing the ball. He's like, nah, give me a guy like John Terry who will make sure you don't get past him. Yeah. Harry Maguire is too liberal. So Ole is steadying the ship, but you guys need to find a better manager.
Fair enough. Now there's Donny van der Beek too. Donny van der Beek, the new signing, he can't even displace Mata.
I feel like you guys are doing him dirty.
We're doing him dirty.
I feel like you're doing him dirty. Agree. I understand why Ole picked him for this game. Picked Mata for this game. As in, dude, you know the system, you'll fit in better. Yeah. And Donny, who hasn't really had many starts.
Fair enough.
This was the game to put Donny there.
Yeah. Was Pogba on the bench again?
Pogba wasn't in the 18. I'm not sure why.
I think he had an ankle problem.
Yeah. But then now let's go to the other team who sits side by side by United in the league table. Arsenal played away at Leeds United, Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds United. The game ended 0-0. There was a talking point in the game just after half time. Nicolas Pepe got sent off for, what is that, violent conduct?
Yeah, violent conduct.
So Mikel Arteta described that red card as unacceptable. Yeah. But and he was actually put the question to say, what did you say to the player? And he said again, I said it's unacceptable. Yeah. So let's speak to the performance first, because it's actually well balanced. Is that there's a first half 11 versus 11, and the second half 10 against 11. I think Leeds United dominated both.
Yes, they did. Yeah, I can't even argue. My team has scored 9 goals this season. 9 goals. Haven't scored from open play in over 430 minutes. I am disgusted.
Disgusted in what?
Our lack of fair play. I think creativity. I think the biggest mistake that Arsenal made was at board level when we hired Emery. They first heard what Arteta had to say, and they loved him. All right, and then Emery came, and he pulled the wool over everybody's eye. And then they said no.
But Arteta is your manager that's given you 9 goals in 9 games.
He's talking about Emery.
Emery.
I hear you, but I'm saying Arteta's here now, where you're saying we've only scored 9 goals.
No. You see, what I'm saying is, right, Arteta, okay, let me put it this way. Emery came and he was supposed to steady the defense. He didn't do that, right? And rocked out Arsene Wenger's flair play out of every single one of those players over the long run. Right? So Emery came in and did neither or. He didn't improve us offensively. He didn't improve us defensively. All right? I feel if Arteta got the squad right after Arsene Wenger, all right, some of the fair play would have been there. All right?
Okay, but...
So we would have still had those 1-2 patches, but he would have gave us a structure. Arsenal needed a structure at that point. We fixed the structure now, right? We're conceding less, but my God, we can't do anything to score.
Mr. Poe, now Arsenal's recent game is 0-0 against Leeds United.
Leeds United that concedes a lot of goals.
Sure. So Mr. Poe, take us through that game.
Okay, for me, I have a few issues with that team. Lack of creativity is number one. Willian has played week in and week out and hasn't really produced any sort of performance that's memorable. It's only his first performance where he had 2 assists, where we thought, okay, you know what, we have something here. Then he just went quiet. I don't know why his performances are like this, but it needs to be addressed. That's first analysis that I've seen.
And they even brought him off at half-time because he was doing nothing.
Yeah, they brought him off at half-time. He wasn't doing anything. I think, if I'm correct, Reece Nelson came on for him.
Yeah, he did.
And Reece Nelson had a little spark of, you could see a little bit of energy.
In fact, you know who I rate in that game? And I hate to rely on youngsters, but Saka did a lot.
Yeah,
all our chances came when he came on.
He came off the bench and did well, right? But maybe let me start here with you, Mr. Poe. So I bring up Arsenal. He brings up Emery, but then you say Willian hasn't done anything. Willian is an Arteta signing. Joe Willock played at number 10.
Yes.
Is this not an Arteta decision to not have Ozil anywhere near the squad? So I hear the conversation about Emery, but you described Oli as crash bang. This is his time to be managing now.
Let me stop you here. The Ozil situation, can we please, even though this guy creates chances, can we understand that there is a part of his game that is lacking, and that is his defense? How would, put yourself in a young player's shoes, where there's a player who's not working as hard as you in practice, doesn't put in as much of a shift, and he plays week in and week out. Ozil's not the man that he used to be. His performances have declined. So I understand that it is a bit harsh for them to leave him out the squad completely, but you still need to reward the youngsters who played well. Now,
Mr. Curtis, wait. You've described a factor in this game as a lack of creativity, right? So take us through that. Leeds United, I think outplayed Arsenal, right? Did Arsenal defend well?
Arsenal defended well. I'll give them that.
Leeds United hit the woodwork 3 times.
Second half.
Okay.
10 men.
They still hit it.
But we're talking about the first half performance.
So did they not have chances? Oh, they didn't.
You're telling me about woodwork.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
Right. So it's easier to hit the woodwork in the second half, but they hit it. Okay. It's not a shot on target.
Okay.
All right. But we are looking at a more defensively solid Arsenal structure. All right. I feel like Arsenal is playing like a mid-table team.
Yeah.
When you look at them play, they play on their counter-attack against bigger teams. Right?
Yeah.
I read a comment on Twitter over the weekend. Arteta is playing the type of football we expect Mourinho to play. And I was like, I can't fight that argument.
So Arteta's number 2 is Steve Round, who was David Moyes' number 2 at Everton. Arteta played under him. And we describe David Moyes as controlling football, and I take it he's from that school too. But when you say there's a lack of creativity, you put that down to the previous manager. What is Arteta doing this season? Because you guys are 11th.
I'd like to take that one first.
What is Arteta doing? Maybe I built it up badly because I'm trying to steer the conversation to Arteta.
I think what Arteta was trying to do with his signings is he was trying to originally get rid of Ozil. Ozil's one of our most highly paid, like the highest paid players in the squad. And if you match that to his performances, it does not match. We were supposed to get rid of him, and we were supposed to bring in Aouar from Lyon. That didn't work out because of stupid mistakes. The guy's brother wanted 10 million commission, and then we told him to essentially go kick rocks. So from that point of view, he should have made another plan. He did rely on a creative player in that guy, but it didn't work out.
So
and then he took his B option was Willian, and it doesn't seem to be working out.
There, I would like to take you on, Potion, because we can say his performances have declined, right? Mm-hmm. But then even when you look at it, our top 2 players who create chances is Ozil and Pepe.
Okay, so Leeds United 0-0 Arsenal, right? Who's Arsenal's best performer on the day?
Our keeper, Leno.
Yes, Leno.
Our keeper, Leno.
Saka coming off the bench. Aubameyang linking with Saka when he comes off the bench.
Okay.
That's how I look at it, right?
Okay.
But as I was saying, it's like one of those things of we do not create chances at all. We don't create them. Cool. I say you work with the squad you have, right? You can't get rid of Ozil and then say, okay, fine, let me get Aouar and expect Aouar to hit the ground running.
So
I can understand when you say, okay, fine, Ozil's not working as hard as he needs to work, but then keep him on the bench.
Right.
Have that option.
So hold on. So now Arsenal had a couple of injuries in this game, right? Thomas Partey's out. El Neni had COVID.
Defensive players.
Yeah, but it's your starting lineup. Yeah. You put other players into the game. I think Calvin Phillips bossed that game. You maybe for lack of a better term, you trivialized Chelsea's result. You trivialized Liverpool's result. Maybe insert a better word there. But Arsenal's result, you're talking about your previous manager.
Lucas, I'm saying Arteta has got in shambles in terms of tactics. Don't get me wrong. I was talking about a longer running issue that I've had with Arsenal. Right? I feel that our creativity has been coached out because they were trying to fix something, and Emery was not the man because he did neither or.
Okay, so Mr. Potion, same question I gave you about the other teams. End of the season, do you see Arsenal in the conversation as title challengers?
Right now, I think the best fight is top 6.
It's top 6?
Yes, that's the basics. For them to solve that, they need to buy themselves. They need to find themselves a creative midfielder to kind of fill the void.
Danny Ceballos ain't it?
Danny Ceballos, for now, I don't see him as that to fill the void. There's talks of us signing a player from RB Salzburg. His name starts with an S. It's very,
So Lazabao or something like that.
Sloblitsky.
Yes.
Sloblitsky. So he's not essential. He's on the wing.
Yeah, but he can also drift into the creative plays.
Okay.
So they're trying to buy him as a replacement or to fill the void of the, creativity that we need. So I think if we find something, maybe we can start talking about top 4. But right now, if we don't solve the problem we have with the creativity, I don't see us.
So, Uncle Curtis, going back to the Leeds 0, Arsenal 0. I'm upset as United from the game against West Brom because we're a better team than West Brom. It shouldn't have looked as even as it did against West Brom. Arsenal, you're a better team than Leeds. Leeds dominated the first half when you were 11 against 11. Yes, they hit the post 3 times when you guys were down to 10. But first half against 11 and against 11. On Leeds maybe took that half on points. Better squad. Name Leeds players. You won't get through the whole 11.
I'm not arguing that Leeds didn't play better. I am upset with the tactics we were playing. I think we overcorrected in fixing defensive mistakes.
In that game.
Right? Because even when you look at Arteta, right, we're struggling to score goals this season.
Because he changed the system. He's been playing 3-4-3. This game went to 4-3-3, I think.
Because he's starting to get the defenders he wants in defense. Right? Because even when you look at Arsenal players, right, I forgot to mention another person who did very well is Gabriel. He's our player of the season. Why am I saying a defender is player of the season?
Yeah.
All right. So, as I say, I look at Arteta. This season we can't score. All right. When he took over, it seemed like there was a balance. All right. Ozil was playing at that stage. We created more chances. Cool. We took our chances in those games.
Oh, I think I saw a stat to say I think Aubameyang has had about 10 shots this whole season. Something like that.
That's my problem. They should. I was happy when they played Aubameyang through the middle.
You questioned other teams' managers.
I'm questioning
their results.
Yeah. I questioned other teams.
Sorry guys, I'm going to make them speak about their team in the same way they make other people's talk about other teams.
I'll give you that. Like our manager's still trying to find his feet due to the lack of creativity. He's exploring his ways. I think it also doesn't help that Arsenal is playing that possession football where they would, instead of rather taking a shot or taking that risky pass, they'd rather just pass it back and build up play again.
All right.
You know what's the thing, right? Yeah. I could liken it to Pep at Man City. Yeah. They also struggle to score goals. They're on 10, we're on 9.
But you told me about all the chances they had against Tottenham.
Yeah, but I said with Pep, it's Gabriel Jesus is a problem. Yeah. With Arsenal, we have a striker who can finish those chances.
But you didn't
play him on the left.
But you don't get them. He played up front against Leeds.
Yeah, but then that's the first game he's played up front this season.
We also need to remember that Arteta has just brought in a new system into Arsenal. It's been essentially heading to a season since he got signed in January.
Yeah.
So he's had a season to try implement this new philosophy of his. He hasn't had as much time as Pep. So to compare him to Pep is a bit unfair.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that let's not say...
Okay. I'm not comparing all the way. I'm just saying in terms of lack of creativity.
I'm saying to him because he was bringing up Jesus and lots of chances and saying Aubameyang. So I'm saying that's my viewpoint at it.
Fair enough. And to sort of wrap up, who was the team of the weekend? Who had the best weekend for you guys?
Tottenham.
Chelsea for me. It's another clean sheet. I'm talking Chelsea overall. They're on the best run of form. Best results is Tottenham.
Best performance?
Best performance.
Mr. Poe?
Well, you can say it's Tottenham.
Liverpool.
Wow. Okay, sure.
The three of the back four not there. They won.
Sure.
You think I'm going to say Tottenham or Chelsea? Get out of here.
I'm about to say
Get out of here.
Listen, yeah, I'm giving this weekend to Tottenham. I think they for me deservedly beat Man City with a great performance. They went top. There's a feel good factor around them. I'm giving this weekend to Chelsea.
But before we wrap it up, guys, I feel we should give Zlatan, the coach of AC Milan, a heads up over there. Man is top of the league.
The player in AC Milan. He's
top of the league. He's a player, but I feel like he's managing that squad because he joined in Jan. He revitalized that team.
Yeah.
Top of the league, 6 games won, 2 games drawn. Juventus, 4 games won, 4 games drawn.
Yeah.
So I just need to shout out Zlatan over there.
I think Zlatan has done quite well because AC Milan is quite a young team with Rafael Leao and them. I think he's doing quite well. Those guys are young enough to do his running for him. Yeah. And
I give him the leader role.
Last thing you want to do is give Zlatan space.
I give him the leader role in that team because he got there and he started giving them a structure.
Yeah.
I think maybe flip. I can't believe I'm saying what English pundits used to say. That's what Arsenal is missing in their dressing room. We don't have those leaders. But it is what it is. We'll see how it goes during this season.
Well, you're saying for us, we don't have leaders.
Leaders like Zlatan, who are charismatic, who take the mantle on. Because when I look at that squad, Aubameyang is a goal scorer, but
not a leader.
Not a leader.
Yeah,
he's your captain.
He's our captain, but he's not a leader.
Well, I see after his little tiff at the end, they're now tipping Tierney to be.
Tierney is a leader. Sorry, Tierney is a leader. That man fights for his team.
Okay. Just quickly then, because I don't want to limit that chat to just Arsenal. Yeah. Right. So let's look at Spurs. Do you think their team has leaders?
Spurs.
I think they do. Hugo Lloris, yes. Alderweireld, even Højbjerg himself.
Yes.
Harry Kane.
Okay, let me put it this way.
A leader leads by example.
He's not a leader.
He's not a leader. Why is he not a leader?
What does he do? What does he do that inspires other players?
It's not his words.
It's not his words.
It's the way he carries himself.
And even when you say Hugo Lloris, what, I think the biggest difference in Tottenham's makeup this season is Mourinho. When you watch that All or Nothing documentary on Amazon, what did Mourinho come? He's like, you guys are a bunch of nice guys.
Yeah.
Mourinho told them, be assholes.
Yeah.
You'll win more games.
Yeah.
And that's why I say when you tell me Lloris leader, get that nigga out of here. He did nothing.
He's the captain at France when they won the World Cup.
But what did he do at Spurs the past 6 years he's been there? Because he's been there since 2 contract extensions.
Yeah.
You're telling me Højbjerg? He came from Southampton.
Yeah.
We'll give him time. We'll give him time. Who's the other leader?
So okay.
Harry Kane.
Okay. Fair enough. City leaders. Just quickly, just to wrap up.
Fernandinho.
There's Fernandinho.
He's not playing right now, but in the squad. But I think City.
Kyle Walker.
Nah.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Nah.
Kyle Walker, from a vocal point of view, he seems like the type of guy who will stay loud, will stay vocal. So I'll give him that. He'll stay vocal.
Kevin De Bruyne?
No.
He's a good player, not a leader.
Good player.
Because when I consider leaders, I'm talking about the Patrick Vieira. Because to me, Thierry Henry wasn't a good leader. He was captain of Arsenal, but was not a good leader.
Okay, I think one day then we have to have this chat about what the leaders are. Manchester United, Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes,
the criminal. Get out of here.
Sure, yes, but leader?
No, he's a criminal. He's a bad example to all the kids out there. Yes. Imagine if Raheem Sterling got arrested in Greece. Get that criminal out of here. I'm not shooting Harry Maguire any bail.
Okay, Liverpool, Van Dijk, Milner, Henderson.
In fact, that's the greatest signing Liverpool did. Milner. I hate to say this because I do not like Milner one bit.
He brought balance.
Fantastic.
Not even just balance. He's overall squad impact. He came from Man City winning championships.
Yeah.
To come to Liverpool. Now they winning championships.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say this on record, so let's just move on.
Yeah. And in fairness, kind of like you see him at Liverpool, you see him play left back, you see him play right back. At City, I even saw him play striker. Yeah. Like he played everywhere. So okay, so I give the weekend to Spurs. You give the weekend to?
We left out Chelsea in that conversation.
Oh, we left out Chelsea.
I gave it to Chelsea. Or Liverpool. Well, Chelsea's
Thiago for leaders. Thiago Silva?
I haven't seen too much of him at Chelsea yet, but he isn't a leader because we saw it at PSG.
From Brazil
but
and
when
PSG.
we're talking about Chelsea specifically, I haven't seen that yet.
For me, I was going to say he is a natural born leader.
Okay.
Until he learns how to speak English, that is still debatable.
Fair enough.
And the likes of Kante, I guess Kante doesn't fall as a leader.
He's not a leader, he's more of a silent type. He'll inspire you to want to work hard.
Like Harry Kane. I put him in the same boat as Harry Kane. As in
Ben Chilwell, I know he's a new signing too, but I'd see him as that.
Not as a leader, but as one of the, the influences.
I'll give him second tier leader.
Okay. Yeah. Jorginho?
Leader?
Jorginho,
Wanami.
No,
Jorginho. Their central defensive midfield.
Oh, Jorginho.
Yeah.
Nah, get that nigga out of here. You saw Chelsea play better without him. Get that nigga out. Nah.
All right. So wrapping up, I'm giving the weekend to Chelsea to Spurs. Mr. Poe.
Liverpool.
He's
3
giving it
defenders
to
out.
Liverpool. Once again, thank you for joining us on another episode of Nothing But Football podcast. We'll see you again soon when we'll go through more of everything that happens during the week and give you more of the banter connoisseurs. From us, Mr. Chris, aka
Ozil.
Uncle Curtis.
Play Ozil, though. That's all I want. Play Ozil, Pepe, get rid of Willian. I'd rather take Nelson at this point.
Mr. Potion.
Cheers, guys.
And myself, Lucas. We'll catch you on the